This is a sports catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather, ho there, it's Jeff Cutastrophe, and welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, September 28th, 1996, one of the biggest suspensions levied against a player for spitting at an official happened. Yeah, I know this happened on September 27th, the incident in question happened, but September 28th was the day that Robbie Alomar got suspended for his magic loogie, if you will. So let's set up what happened. It's the previous day on September 27, 1996. The Orioles were in a chase for the wild card spot in the American League to make the playoffs. They were taking on the Toronto Blue Jays, who were not doing so hot. The Blue Jays would send Paul Quantrill to the mound in a start, which was unusual. But he did. Paul Quantrill started the game against Scott Erickson. The Orioles had Brady Anderson at center field, who was hitting home runs like there was no tomorrow for some strange reason. Robbie Alomar, the former Blue Jay who went to Baltimore during the 95 offseason. Todd Steele at third base for one of many teams he's played for. Rafi Palmeiro at first base, you know his whole drug problems. Bobby Bonilla in right field, surprised that Baltimore had him. Cal Ripken in short. Eddie Murray, the DH, the reliable Eddie Murray, who even played for the Orioles in the late 70s. B.J. Surhoff in left field, Mark Parent catching, and Scott Erickson pitching. The Blue Jays had Jacob Brumfield at center, Philippe Crespo at second, the great guy Carlos Delgado at DH, Joe Carter still around, who played in left field, Ed Sprague at third, Johnny Olerud at first, Charlie O'Brien of the hockey mask variety at catcher, Sean Green in right, and Alex Gonzalez at short with Paul Quantrill, the Canadian, pitching. After Brady Anderson struck out swinging, Robbie Alomar struck out looking, and Todd Steele flew out. So no score in the first inning. John Olerud with an RBI single in the bottom of the second, making 1-0. Brady Anderson went deep off of Quantrill to tie the game at 1. Joe Carter hit an RBI single, and then was pinch hit for it by Robert Perez, which was weird. I think Carter got hurt or something. Olerud got hit by a pitch with the bases loaded. And then, Huck Flanner came in to pitch. Juan Samuel went to first base. And Robert Perez went to left field. The Orioles did score an RBI double by Eddie Murray, make it 3-2 in the ninth. Tony Tarasco would pinch run for Murray. Surhoff flew out, and then Chris Hoyle struck out swinging as Mike Timlin picked up save number 30. So the win went to Huck Flanner because rules are you have to start. If you start a game and don't go 5 innings, you can't get in line for a win. A loss you can, but a win you can't. So Huck Flanner with the win. Paul Jarek, a Canadian, with the hold, and Mike Timlin picked up save number 30. Whereas Scott Erickson lost with Jesse Orozco and Terry Matthews also pitching. So anyway, great job by the Blue Jays and all that to win the game. But lost in the shuffle was the fact that there was the major incident. So it's September 27, 1996. Blue Jays hosting the Orioles final weekend of the regular season, Baltimore chasing a playoff spot. Robbie Alomar was mad over a close third strike, which was outside. To be fair, the Baltimore announcers did say have a grab about it, but yeah, I think so. Alomar went back to the dugout, but before the first pitch to the next batter happened, Alomar was ejected from the game. Alomar ran towards John Hirschbeck, with J.B. Johnson trying to get between them. Unfortunately, Alomar seemed to have done something wrong. And all that. He would spit in Hirschbeck's face, saying that the umpire used an ethnic slur against him. There were lip readers that said that Hirschbeck called Alomar a homophobic word. Some say that Hirschbeck called Alomar a son of a bitch. Yeah, which Alomar may have taken an insult to his mother. Anyway, the problem was that Hirschbeck and Alomar exchanged words, and Alomar said the magic words that will get you ejected. Fortunately, Well, Alomar just was tossed from the game. Billy Ripken, Cal's brother, ended up coming in to play second base. But Alomar had troubles. The worst part about Alomar was that after the game, when talking to reporters, he said that Hirschbeck had a personality which was really bitter because he had a son that died from ALD. And another son had been diagnosed with it. Hirschbeck heard about that remark and decided to charge into the Orioles clubhouse before the second game of the 3-game series. Fortunately, though, Jim Joyce, my favorite umpire, actually restrained him. Alomar was given a 5-game suspension and required to donate $50,000 to ALD research. And, it was just terrible and all that. So anyway, that 5-game suspension was huge. Unfortunately for people, Alomar did spit at the umpire and all that and was kind of a dick. And the worst part about it is that, the 5-game suspension would be the first 5 games of the 97 season, not even for the playoffs. And Baltimore did clinch the playoff spot on the Saturday. They clinched the wild card spot, and then they would subsequently go on to beat Cleveland in the ALDS and face the Yankees in the ALCS. And of course, we remember Jeffrey Myers' fan interference. That was the series that happened. The umpires were pissed off that Alomar was given a 5-game suspension for the 97 season and not for the continuation of the 96 season. So they basically raised a stink and threatened to walk off the job if Alomar was not given the 5-game suspension right away. Cooler heads would prevail, and unfortunately for everyone, Alomar served his 5-game suspension started the 97 season. So anyway, yeah. It's just humongous what he did. Well, the good news was that in early April 97, Alomar and Hirschbeck actually put their differences behind them and shook hands at home plate, which was shocking. But I mean, this was just amazing. Maybe Hirschbeck did have some personality problems. But anyway, Alomar was wrong for that spit. Let's say that right now. You don't spit at an umpire like that and expect to get sympathy for it. I don't care who you are. If you're a former Toronto Blue Jays second baseman that was one of the best Gold Glovers around, and subsequently have his number unretired because of his misconduct problems. You just can't do that to an umpire. All that. Maybe Hirschbeck was in the right, maybe he was in the wrong. But anyway, Alomar was in the wrong for the spitting incident, and you can take that to the bank. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.